All right, welcome to GPS. I'm a guy, Brandon Perna, here with, I'm waiting for my co-host, patiently waiting. Ooh. Did you go to J.C. Penney or what? What a
Brandon,
yeah.
it's a great day, my friend. You know, it's days like these where I just wake up and I'm just happy to be alive.
Yeah.
It's a blessed day. All the evil from the world has been expelled, and it's time to rejoice.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh boy, did we time that nicely.
Oh, baby. We here.
We tear.
Oh, you into my mouth. Welcome to another episode of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is GPS. And the S stands for
Oh man.
Skolololololo.
Oh, Vikings fans, you are in the wrong show this morning.
All year. I heard it all year. Oh, Packers so bad. Oh, Vikings NFC North champs. You know how many playoff games you won this year? You know how many the Packers won this year? I take that.
Wow.
Mm.
See, I'm envious. I am envious that your division rival lost. And I'm also envious that your division rival's quarterback, Kirk Cousins, played a pretty good football game.
Yeah, pretty good.
But threw one dumb pass at the end and just is getting ripped. If only Mahomes could do the same for me. If only Mahomes could do the same.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually, this is the first time I'm just legit jealous of you on GPS.
Listen, buddy. The day may come. But for right now, we have we've made it through the rain. You know, and maybe it's just doing clickbait with Scooter, but I've been reading the Bible lately, and there was a passage that I read that really reminded me of yesterday, and it was when God drove out Lucifer, and everything just got better and back into the pits of hell, and it really spoke to me yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm becoming a pious man.
So you're saying God is good because he smited the Vikings.
Yeah, and if that, you know what? And they say, you know, it comes from unexpected places. It works in mysterious ways. Happens to be the Giants and Daniel Jones, which didn't expect that, but here we are. We are.
And as both of the Packers and Vikings seasons end, what is everyone clamoring for? Fire the defensive coordinator.
It's true.
Fire Joe Barry, fire Ed Donatel. I've seen it both. I've seen them both.
Let's be clear here, okay? There is too much outrage. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of this cancel culture that's out there. Ed Donatel should get at least 6 more seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. Easy. Give him an extension. He just got hired in February, guys. You know, you got to give him some time to adjust. You got to give him some time to really reflect on the season. You know, all those vets who are super slow, re-sign them because it's the pious thing to do. The Vikings, they have the blueprint. They just need to follow it.
Yeah, it's It's interesting too because Joe Woods was fired, correct, from Cleveland?
He was, yes.
And now Ed Donatel, people want him fired. Those are two former Broncos defensive coaches. And
thank you for sharing your gift, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. And while those guys were the coaches, the Broncos defense seemed to do better than the Vikings and the Browns, which is just strange to me.
Very strange.
I will say, I'm going to predict right now, if the Vikings do fire Ed Donatel, he will follow Vic Fangio to his next job and be his assistant. Because the joke here in Denver was, we don't even really know what Ed Donatel does. He was the defensive coordinator, but Vic Fangio was the head coach. And we're like, does Ed Donatel even do anything? And now you know, Tom, he helps your rival lose. He helps him lose.
Amen. Amen.
I'm being hard. I like Ed Donatel. Seemed like a nice guy.
He looks like a great guy.
Yeah.
And
Donatel in purple, it just makes sense.
Yeah, Donatello. Anyone ever seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? He's my hero in a half shell.
If I was Ed Donatel, I would just show up to if I got fired, my press conference, I'd just be wearing a Donatello eye bandana thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Right. Well, we did have a wacky wild card weekend of football, Tom.
We did. I was leaving the awkward silence in there so you could go into the ad read so we don't remember.
Oh, so we don't forget.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yes, Dean.
Now
yes.
I'm supposed to know what your silence means.
Yep. God. Why can't you read my mind? We've been married long enough.
Yeah, I should know. A look should say it all. And hey, maybe you could say it all over at DraftKings Sportsbook. That's a segue. Good one? My opinion, great one. Right now, new customers. Okay, we're in NFL postseason, and DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL. It started this last weekend. New customers, all you had to do was sign up with our code GPS.
Let's go.
And bet at least $5 on any NFL playoff game, and you would instantly receive an additional $200 in bonus bets. And that offer is good still today, this week, to the Super Bowl. New customers, you're getting free bonus bet money. You don't even have to win. You just make the bet, and you get them free ones. Yeah, I mean, like, I just can't think of a better deal. I wish. Whoa, hold on. Refill? Tom has collected tears from all over the world. Anyway, if mobile sports betting is not available in your state yet, don't worry. You can still get in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy, and you can use those bonus bets, stack them, and some same game parlays for even bigger payouts, like which team will win and by how much. How many tears will their fans be crying after the game is not a bettable thing, but you can think about it, as I know Tom does. Again, code GPS over at DraftKings for new customers. You're going to get them $200 in bonus bets with a $5 bet. Now that. Link in the
You did a great job, Brandon.
Here's to me.
You did a great job. You know, you needed 8 yards and you got 10.
Yeah.
You got 10.
How'd your stream go last night?
Which one?
The final one. Your third leg of the marathon.
It was a good game. So it was pretty good. At the end, I think we had like 13,000 people in there.
Did you go down some sort of wormhole about food by any chance?
Yes. Yeah. That did happen.
I had people commenting on my videos to check in on you, saying Tom's talking almost exclusively about food.
It was like all the super chats were asking about food. So we were talking about food. And on top of that, oh, buddy, the real stream was the Viking stream.
Oh, I
because
bet.
We didn't even rate anybody at halftime because people went on a donation train about what Kirk Cousins has done. And 2 comments back to back said that Kirk Cousins spits on children. And it just unleashed a wave of like 100 messages of all the terrible things that Kirk Cousins does.
Yes.
And it was
wow,
truly phenomenal. It was an all-time stream. And then they lost. So It was honestly one of the greatest days of my life. Truly.
Serial killer Kirk Cousins goes home.
Serial killer Kirk Cousins.
He wanted to go home. He's like, I've had to do too much football time.
He's not enough killing.
For killing is itchy.
I don't know. Not yet. It's just an itch.
Whoa.
Oh, people were, they're coming on that too. But yeah, let's talk about the super wild card weekend because we were talking about this earlier and like we were very underwhelmed by the slate of games. A lot of divisional games. Obviously, Lamar Jackson not being there, Tua not being there. It really wasn't so great. And I didn't think it was going to be too good. I was like, all right, Jacksonville Chargers will be good. I'd have like Giants, Vikings be good. And then maybe Monday night. Maybe. But it turns out it was a pretty damn good weekend of football.
Yep.
Because even the 49ers Seahawks game, which turned into a blowout at the end, it was good up until around the fourth quarter. So, that was solid. You had an amazing comeback on Saturday night. You had Skylar Thompson. I know a lot of people are ripping him today, but I think considering everything that team, was heading into, going up against the Bills, on the road, no Tua, I think they performed adequately. They could have done it a little bit faster, which would have been nice, but they did pretty good.
What happened to giving your third string QB and your second string QB just a little bit of a leeway in a playoff game? Like Skylar Thompson getting overly criticized. Don't like that. Tyler Huntley getting ripped. Not really fair, guys. They're backups for a reason because they're not as good as the starters. And it's just, I think most fans of those teams they understood the situation. But you go to Twitter, you're just like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's a hellhole.
I wouldn't want to be Skylar Thompson today.
He's just like, I'm going to log in. Oh, my God.
Mike McDaniel. Oh, you idiot. You blew the game because of clock management. How about he coached up his team to compete with the freaking Bills with his third string QB?
And at one point, they were winning.
Yeah.
They were winning.
And you're right. We streamed that game. It was 4 hours. It was like pulling single hairs out of your nose towards the end there. But like 3 drop passes early in that game may have been the difference for the Dolphins. And I thought Skylar put the ball there. So
and the defense of the Dolphins, they showed up. They did pretty well. Again, considering everything, considering how they've been playing all year. They were solid, of course. We'll go through each game, but Giants, Vikings, that was a great game. And honestly, felt like it was going at warp speed. Considering we went from our game to this, I was like, wow, this is going really, really fast.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the biggest surprises this weekend. It was, I think, the Dolphins just really giving the Bills a run for their money. The Bills helped them a little bit with all their turnovers because the Ravens, Bengals, we assumed the Bengals would win. But we knew that was probably going to be a dogfight because just the way that division is. We just watched those two teams play.
Yep.
And, we should have known it was going to be a little bit closer when the Ravens were able to start Tyler Huntley and not their third string quarterback like they had to do week 18. But, man, that game also comes down to basically the Sam Hubbard touchdown. The Tyler Huntley, he, reaches over the goal, tries to go over the top, not the right move.
Back in his face, and then he's like, "No," and then they're like, "No." And Sam Hubbard's like, "This is mine."
Logan Wilson's
So now you have Ravens fans. Obviously, they've been calling for Greg Roman's head all year. That's gonna not get any quieter until he is
but I thought he
fired.
called a pretty good game, except for and even that play, you're doing a QB sneak in that situation. We don't know if it's designed to go low or if Huntley just, decided to jump over. But the fact that they were hanging, where Greg Roman, you want to critique him, and it's J.K. Dobbins who's very upset.
Yeah,
last night or today, talking about he only got 13 touches in that game. Only 1 touch inside the 5. And that's where you question any sort of play caller with a backup quarterback. Give it to I mean, J.K.
And they were
Dobbins or Mark
running
Andrews, your two best weapons on offense, right?
Or Gus Edwards. Like, that's the thing. Like, they were running pretty well. Like, it was working. And they got into this rhythm where they were like, hey, they're able to move the ball. And in that second half, the Ravens offense looked better than the Bengals offense because the Ravens defense was really clamping down on them. And I was like, oh, damn, like, they can't score right now. So, I mean, the only score in the fourth quarter was that 99-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
And they almost caught the Hail Mary, too. It bobbled.
Oh, that would have been ridiculous.
It was close, man.
That
would have been really close. So.
Yeah, that game was. I liked that football game. It was exactly what you expected. Just kind of beat the piss out of each other. See who wins.
It's an AFC North divisional game. I mean, that's what, like, right? It's like Ravens Steelers beat the crap out of each other. Like that's just what they do. Those are the types of football games that they play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Except for the Browns. They get pushed around a little bit in that division.
Even
when they're good.
As they should. All right, let's go through each of these games, buddy, because we have a lot to talk about. We got a lot to break down. Because heading out after this weekend, obviously these teams we still got a game tonight. But there's some concerns I have for some teams that remain. I think the best team coming out of this weekend looked like the 49ers. But I mean, that was kind of like the thought going into it. And listen, they were playing a 7 seed, but again, it was a divisional rival. And I'm saying that after like it was 3/4 of close football.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one, it's funny too, because like you go on Twitter and you look at like Brock Purdy and people are like, oh my God, he's amazing. And now like a day or two has passed and they're just like, he's not that good. Stop overhyping him. Look at this bad throw that he's made. Oh yeah, there's people that are ripping him apart. They're like, this is an amazing throw by Purdy. And they're like, no, this is a terrible throw by Purdy. And I'm just like, the guy was the last pick in this draft. And like, I'm not saying he's godlike. I'm not going to overhype him, but the guy is playing pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, he was the best quarterback this weekend. You can make an argument maybe for Daniel Jones. But I'd say Brock Purdy was the best quarterback. No picks, 3 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown from Purdy. And this is what like Purdy's like, I didn't know this was part of his game. He's slippery. He is a slippery little devil. Like watching the Niners with Jimmy G, who, was efficient, was running that offense well. Purdy comes in and, is kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit better than Garoppolo, but he can escape pressure.
He extends plays
to make plays. Yeah. Yep. And like, that's exactly what Kyle Shanahan has wanted with that offense. It's why they moved up to get Trey
Lance. Yep.
And now you got Purdy able to do it. Look, Daniel Jones had a hell of a game, but I would say just pure throwing the football, Purdy a little bit better than Dan Jones. Dan might even it out because he rushed the ball 17 times in that game. Yep. Like finally, Dable kept it in check all season and then unleashed Daniel Jones in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think the 49ers, so they are going to play the winner of tonight's game. So the Cowboys and Buccaneers are going to beat the crap out of each other. And then they get their gift is, here you go. Here's your prize, guys. You get to go play against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, but even the Niners, they did look like the best team, but I have a little bit of concern about their defense because they struggled to cover DK
Their
Metcalf.
Secondary is masked by a very good defensive line.
Yeah, like if they get the Buccaneers, DK Metcalf, that's just Mike Evans, and Mike Evans probably still better than DK. I think that's an issue. So, we'll see. And the Bucks don't even try to run the ball. So like Seattle, they need to run the ball to be successful. Yeah. And they got after the 49ers early in that game. The Bucks are just going to throw it at them. So I don't know if I like that matchup. I mean, I think the Niners would ultimately win either of those games. But what we saw this weekend is it felt like every team kind of has some issues.
Yes, I agree.
We're just, and they always get magnified in the playoffs. But the The Bills, you're a little nervous. The Bengals, you're a little nervous, but they play each other, so that's just the way it's going to be.
The team that I'm the most concerned about after this weekend is the Buffalo Bills. Easy. Because like the Jaguars, I have no expectations for them. Like they're riding on this high. I'm like, you go, guys. Like, you know what? You might be the Chiefs. Like that. There's not really a ton of hyper expectation. He is better than DK. That's just a fact. Anyway, I think that with the Bills, like, I don't know that because they didn't face a good defense. They didn't face a good offense. Again, I know it's divisional, divisional opponent, but like the Bengals, I'm giving them a little bit more leeway because the Ravens defense is really good. Like the defense of the Ravens is solid. So the Bills, I still think they could beat anybody, but they've the issues that you and I have talked about, the turnovers are still there. Like that is probably the scariest thing, I would say. They're turning the ball over. They're making like some poor mistakes. Their defense is vulnerable. I mean, can you imagine if like Waddle or any of those guys actually caught those balls? And I think if Tua is in there, that's kind of been the narrative that they do win that game or it gets a lot closer. But I still I'm not trying to put down the Bills or anything like that, but they're the team going up against a Bengals team that has been usually pretty damn good. They're on a significant win streak. It could be a problem.
Yeah. And how'd the Bengals win the game against the Ravens?
Defense.
A turnover. Yeah, right. A key turnover. That's all Buffalo's got to do. It's crazy, though, because Josh Allen is so good. He can beat himself, but still beat his opponent at the same time.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
If you just look at the throws he was doing compared to every other quarterback basically that played this weekend, he's the only one who just has no fear to throw it 50 yards down the field. Yep. When it's not even necessary.
Correct.
But you hit a couple of those and they're game-changing type throws. I'm nervous about the Bills because they don't look as complete as they did last postseason, but they can still beat anybody. They're still just that crazy, big play type team. I think they're a mismatch really for any defense, but it's all about, are they going to beat themselves? Because it wasn't even the 2 picks I think Allen had. Wasn't there another fumble? Well, he fumbled. He got fumbled, but I think was there one more fumble in that game? I can't remember.
Buddy, that game was 8 years ago.
We watched all 4 hours of it, and part of it erased my memory.
My dad texted me. He's like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I was like, "I don't remember." He texted me at midnight last night. I was like, "I don't remember." I truly don't.
Long time ago.
But what I will say to the Bills, because you have Josh Allen who literally will throw an interception and then throw a 50-yard touchdown the very next drive. That's just who the Bills are. I think they kind of live and die by that. And again, it's enough to beat everybody, but
yeah, what should worry you was Allen was sacked 7 times in that game.
Yes. Both O-lines were terrible yesterday.
Yeah, that's by far the most. I mean, Skylar Thompson was sacked 4 times, but that would be a bit of an issue. You need to drop that number in half, I think.
Well, because the Bengals defense, again, I know they're going up against Huntley and stuff, but the Bengals defense has been low-key impressive for a bit now. So if there's a team, I think what it'll be it might be a close game for 3 quarters, and then 4th quarter just turns into a shootout. And it's just hey, everyone's tired. Let's just start bombing the ball. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. That is my game of the weekend by far. It's a game that I've been looking forward to the most in this postseason, unless the Chiefs play which one of these teams wins. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then the Jaguars, I feel like this happened so long ago, but the Jaguars beating the Chargers. I know we kind of talked about it on during our stream because we had a lot to talk about. But Jaguars, I think they could beat the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to, but I think they could beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm 100. I agree. You said exactly what I think. They'll probably lose, but well-coached team. You got Doug Peterson versus Andy Reid, both former Eagles coaches going after each other. Why can the Jags hang with Kansas City? Trevor Lawrence, who got them in the hole.
Yep.
Although the first 2 picks weren't really even on 100% on him.
Yeah, it was
But
tipped
he's
one.
good.
Yeah.
Like him not getting rattled in that game. That's the most impressive thing he's done in his career so far is throw 4 picks and then go get a win. Like that, not many QBs are going to bounce back from that. And yes, he's undefeated on Saturday. Mr. Saturday night.
And guess when they're playing? Saturday. That's it.
Yeah, I would love that upset. I would love it.
I know you would. You would. Oh my God. You'd be so happy.
I'll be in that red suit Monday if it happens.
Put on my red suit today. But yeah, Chargers,
I would actually have to have a suit that is I need both teams to lose the Super Bowl because unlike you, Tom, you dealt with Vikings fans talking trash to you all season?
All season, buddy.
I dealt with fans of every team telling me how shitty Russell Wilson was all season long.
It's valid.
Like Texans fans coming in. Russ sucks, idiot. You're a Texans fan.
You've won 1 game this season so far. You're just like, would rather be us.
I need that the Peter Schrager jacket with all the teams. Like,
nailed it. But anyway. I mean, so Chargers though, so you had players come out defending Brandon Staley, saying like they're building something special there. And I'm like, and again, it might just be the disconnect of like the fandom from them, what's going on in the locker room. And I don't doubt that they like Brandon Staley. I just think that good God, that offense is so anemic under Herbert, and it should not be. Like, with the weapons they have, Eckler, Allen, Mike Williams, when Brandon Staley doesn't start him and get him needlessly injured. Like, they have so many weapons on that team, and it's just like, what the hell are you doing?
See, I think this year, though, I don't think they do have so many weapons. They don't have an elite tight end. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen can't stay healthy, either of those guys. This season, the amount of games they were out there together, not very many.
Sure.
Herbert played through that rib thing, okay? I think Herbert is a very good quarterback, but I also think he's a little bit overrated. And I think we have seen it in clutch time a few times. I think he's a little overrated. I think Staley may be a little overly criticized this season. And their offensive line was a mess.
It was injured, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't like defending the Chargers. I really don't. But I think the Chargers, if they can get either another elite ball catcher, receiver, or tight end, and some more depth on their line, you can roll with Staley if you believe in what they're building. And I don't think he did much this season to deserve to be fired. We've just kind of changed our expectations for where we put coaches to be fired. Like,
I don't disagree with that.
Like, people are calling for Mike McDaniel to be fired because
of stupid. That's stupid.
Some clock mismanagement with a third string quarterback.
Guy's ripping a vape on the sideline. Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah. You fire your, like, if I'm running the Chargers and I'm like, the offense is the problem, and I bring in a different offensive coordinator to get the most out of Justin Herbert. If the players like your head coach, like legit like him, maybe they don't. Maybe they're just being good players, defending their head coach because you don't want to see guys get fired. But if they like him, I think Staley is a decent coach, and I think he could be a very good head coach. And I think coaches just deserve more time to prove it. We've gotten into like just pull the Band-Aid off. I would have given Nathaniel Hackett another season to prove himself.
Yeah, no, that makes
sense. But
sense.
I've been tortured, so maybe my perspective is wrong. Well, maybe seeing a guy like Staley, I'm like, I would take that.
So I think here's the problem: is like Brandon Staley came in and he's supposed to be like this defensive mastermind. The defense, no, it hasn't been. Like it, and again, they dealt with injuries too. Don't get me wrong. Like Bosa's been out, all that great stuff. But their defense was not where they wanted. And they got Khalil Mack, right? So to pair with Bosa, they got J.C. Jackson, which really just didn't work out. He also was injured. But that defense was not as good as it was. I think the play calling, so Joe Lombardi, like, not great. Like, he needs to go. And then I just think that he is not doing them any favors. Like, it is one thing if your players really like your head coach. I think that's important. But at the same time, it comes down to winning football games. And Brandon Staley was aggressive against the Cardinals. And like you saw, like, hey, like, yeah, like we made fun of them all last year for like the fourth down analytics and being aggressive and going for it. And he scaled back on that this year. But, and this is a big but, the team that he's put together, in my opinion, should be more competitive and should be winning more games than they are. And they're not.
But that's that's the Chargers of the last 50 years.
But here's the thing, though. I think it's magnified and is worse because you had Herbert on a rookie deal, and that is slowly going away. So, like, you're looking at your window here where you're able to get these big signings, make these trades, etc. Yeah, I still don't like Zach Taylor.
I know you hate him for some reason.
I do not. I don't hate. I just don't. I think that he is an overrated coach.
I think you need a couple losing seasons under your belt.
Listen, I've been there.
You need to be a loser for a while.
I've been there with Mike McCarthy. I've been there with all of our defensive coordinators, literally all of them. Dom Capers, Mike Pettin, Joe Barry. Like, I've been there.
I think it should be illegal to fire a head coach that got your team to the playoffs. Plain and simple. That means the Raiders would still have Rich Bisaccia. You can't fire a head coach if he gets to the playoffs. New rule. Nailed it.
I just think that, and again, I'm not saying he's a horrible coach, Zach Taylor, but I just think that I think he's a bit over it. It reminds me a lot, and maybe this is just personal bias and experience. It reminds me a lot of the later years with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, maybe that's somewhat true, but I think like you get better as you do the job more, as you do it longer.
Like,
I think who Zach Taylor is a head coach this year is probably different than where he was 2 years ago, and probably will be different in 2 years from now. Like a head coach, if it's working with your elite QB, which the Bengals have, stick with it. Obviously, like Zach Taylor's job's not in question at all, but I wouldn't fire Staley. I really wouldn't. And I'm not just saying that because the Chargers were the only team the Broncos beat. Did he make a bad decision to play Mike Williams? Yes. Could they be a little bit better? Sure.
Buddy, I don't know.
Look, the only way you do fire Staley is if you know you can get Sean Payton because you believe that's an improvement, okay? I get that. Like, oh, we can definitely get somebody that we certainly believe is better. But after that, you're really like, you're just taking another gamble. And if it doesn't work, if you fire him and the next guy you bring in doesn't work, that's worse. You're setting your team back further than rolling with somebody who got you to the playoffs.
I do not disagree at all.
But
at the same time, and this is what I said yesterday on stream, Zach Taylor, I will give him all the props because it was a culture thing. I think that he helped change that culture there with Joe Burrow. I think that Burrow literally being the QB that he is.
There.
What? No, considering where it was, I think it's a lot better than where it is.
I'm saying there was no culture.
Yeah, there was nothing there. Staley has not changed the culture in any way, shape, or form. And this is what I talked about the Falcons because I saw that. This is what I talked about with the Falcons. Because there is a culture there in Atlanta, right? It's like talking to Kurt Benkert, and he's like, you start losing, it's like, oh my God, go back to the curse. Like, we're going to blow this game.
Right.
That's the Chargers right now. And I just don't know how after the Mike Williams decision, after your defense has not been good, and now you have this in the postseason, which you've made for the first time since 2018, and you blow a 27-0 lead. And I'm sorry, I don't mean this as offensive as it's going to sound, to the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Like, because the Jaguars, it's the first time they've been there for quite some time too. Like, it shouldn't happen. And that's like the culture that is being embedded into San Diego, LA. And I feel like that needs to shift. That needs to change. And I don't know if Staley's going to do it. Yeah,
it's fair to say, I don't know if he'll change it. That's not true, fat man. Kingsbury had a losing record. Cardinals extended Kingsbury too soon. That was their problem. And I think how many years did Kingsbury get? Was this his fourth season? And
too many.
Staley's what? This was Staley's second or third?
I don't honestly remember at this point.
Let's see here. Kingsbury, 2019 to 2022, 4 years. I think Brandon Staley's just 2.
So let's go worst case scenario and best case scenario, right? Okay, let's look at the two sides of the coin. Let's say you fire Brandon Staley.
Yeah, second season. Give him a third season.
Let's see. You fire Brandon Staley, right? Let's just say we go down that path. Let's look at the best and worst outcome. Worst outcome is you bring in a coach who's not as good, right? You don't get a Sean Payton, you don't get a Harbaugh, you don't get any of these guys, right? You wind up bringing in a coach who's even worse, and it's a problem. So that's one. The good side of that, if you fire him, if you do bring in a guy like Sean Payton and he could potentially turn the team around, he turns the culture around, etc. Now, if you keep Brandon Staley, best and worst. Worst, it's another year. It's another year down of Justin Herbert's rookie deal, and now that's pretty much gone. And now you have to pay him a lot of money, and now you're limited in the moves that you can make in the future. Your window has closed a bit more. Best, do you think he brings the best out of the team?
Yeah. You know what? You want to know what's actually going to happen, Tom?
Opportunity cost. Yeah.
Staley's going to lead the Chargers to like a 12-5 record next year. They're going to be considered, we'll say 13-4. They're going to be like, oh, this is one of the best teams in the league. And then they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then they're going to fire him just like they did to old Marty Schottenheimer. As soon as he figures it out, as soon as the Chargers get it going, that's when they kick him out. Wait. Biscuit breaks stuff is Russ's revenge.
I love seeing you distracted.
You're just not a good multitasker, hey.
That's pretty good. Break stuff.
I just made a Limp Biscuit reference in the Chargers Jaguars video, so I was curious.
But yeah, so Jaguars, they're playing with nothing to lose. They are playing with house money, and they're going to take on the number 1 seed Chiefs. And I don't see what it said.
It said new $50 super thanks from Revealing Storm.
Oh,
I get a notification on my phone about a super thanks.
I think I've gotten like 3 or 4 super thanks. And I was like, oh yeah, I forget that they're there.
That must have been on a different video. Anyway.
So yeah, Jaguars, they have nothing to lose. Like they're playing with house money, going into Arrowhead, going to be a really tough game for them to win. That makes them dangerous. Yeah. There you go.
And also, Doug Peterson's cojones, Tom. Biggest balls of the weekend go to Dougie P.
Dable's up there too.
Dable's had the big balls all season long. Okay, all season long they've been
get looked at
girthy,
by a professional.
But man, like just that 4th and 1 play, and they run that little, I don't even know what to call it, but they had 3 backs in the backfield. Just love the play design. Get ETN on the edge. Oh, plus they went for it on 4th and 7 early, and it didn't work. But man, a Doug Peterson, Brian Dable Super Bowl, that would be wild.
Oh my God. Onside kick to open up the Super Bowl.
Every play is just like a trick play.
Honestly, I would love that so much. I really, truly would. So you have that game. We talked about the Bills and Dolphins. So let's talk about the game of the week.
Your Minnesota Vikings?
The Minnesota Vikings taking on the New York Giants. By the way, New York Giants fans, you get the moniker New York all of next season.
Ooh, you know what I like about
back to
the
Jersey
Vikings is you could have taken them to lose at DraftKings Sportsbook. Wow, really stepped on Tom's moment here, didn't I? Hey, check it. DraftKings code GPS. New customers, when you sign up with that code GPS, it is the name of this show. You're going to get instantly $200 in bonus bets if you make a $5 bet on any NFL playoff game. That is good for tonight's matchup between those two teams. It is good for next weekend, the weekend after. You just got to use our code GPS to get those bonus bets. And you can take those bonus bets and try and maximize their payout via some same game parlays. which team's going to win. First time touchdown score. How much are they going to win by? Do those, you multiply your payout. And if mobile sports betting is not available in your state, check out DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Again, it's code GPS. Link in the description as Tom continues to hydrate from the tears of his enemy. Note to self, do not become Tom's enemy.
I will drink your tears. I'm glad you got the read out of the way. No, because I want.
You know what nickname I'm going to give you, Tom?
What up, buddy?
So old Steve Atwater for the Denver Broncos has one of the most badass nicknames, the Smiling Assassin. Okay, and I think that's fitting for you.
Ooh.
You know, you're genuinely a nice guy, very nice man, big heart, but you're competitive and you will destroy your competition.
Through
Smiling
kindness.
Assassin, Tom Grossi.
I like that.
Mm.
It's like the first nice
you know
thing
what my
you said.
nickname is, though? The guy
boy.
who kills the smiling assassin if provoked.
Oh my god, I don't know about you, but this dynamic just got so much hotter.
Ooh.
It's will they, won't they, but is Perna gonna kill Grossi today?
Two betas go at it and one emerges. All right, anyway. Vikings, Tom. What emotions did you experience in that matchup? Because it was close. It was no runaway.
No. Frustration, because the game went so effing long, the first one, and I had to just record a reaction. And by the way, in the middle of the stream, I thought of 2 more scenes I wanted to do. So during a commercial, I put it on mute and I recorded the other 2 to put in the reaction. That got put out during the stream. Shout out Johnny Barks. We did that. Okay.
Wow,
but
Johnny.
This game, I thought you saw 2 bad defenses and the Vikings were just worse. And I think what was funny about this game is everyone, including Vikings fans, were like, oh yeah, we might lose this game. Like, it was a total flip of the coin. It was a 50-50 matchup.
Yeah.
I think it was just seeing how bad the Vikings defense was, which I've seen a few times this year, but they look extra bad. And I don't know if it was just a combination of Brian Daboll's play calling, Daniel Jones being a wizard, and or the Vikings defense just being horrible. But Daniel Jones looked amazing. Like, he looked like a complete weapon. He was a mobile QB. You saw, because you tweeted about it, that fake where he like faked through and then handed it off behind his back. I was like, what the hell is going on out there? Like, he is looking like a godly elite QB. And again,
Statue of Liberty, to perfection.
It was perfect. It was beautiful.
It looked so smooth. It was so smooth, Dan. Damn. When you saw Dexter Lawrence get flagged for roughing the passer,
Clay Matthews.
Yeah,
it went back to my Clay Matthews.
This is going to be the play that loses them the game. A bad call. Hey, credit to the Giants D because they didn't let that affect him. But I was like, oh God, you can't call that in this situation.
He has him in his arms when he's having the ball, and it's because he like grazes against the helmet with it. I was like, and it looked so unintentional too.
Yeah,
that was a horrendous call. And I know you put that in the rundown because we saw some bad calls this weekend. But oh man, that one was egregious. And if the Giants lost that game because of that call, oh buddy, that would have been something. That would have been something. But yeah, so 5 wound up calling after they won. And he said, like, we've been waiting to see a Daniel Jones, like, statement game. Like, he is the guy. That was his game yesterday. And again, it is going up against a really bad defense, but he played perfectly. Like, the exact game he needed to play. Saquon Barkley was doing well. I know they kind of got away from it in the second half. They also got away from running it with Daniel Jones in the second half, too. But, yeah. Pick on Kirk. Oh, no, he wasn't the problem. Kirk Cousins had a really good game, except for that last throw, which someone mentioned this, and it reminded me. I don't remember what game. Maybe it was against the Broncos. It might have been Was there a game against the Broncos years ago? Maybe it was, I think, when you had Peyton Manning, where like Tony Romo was lighting it up. He had like 4 or 5 touchdowns, but he threw an interception and it like wound up like sealing the game.
Dude, it was one of the greatest games you'll ever watch.
Yes. And everybody after that was like, oh, Tony Romo's a choker, right? Like, oh, he sucks because like he threw the interception, but he just had like an incredible game.
Yeah. It's one of the highest scoring games ever. Romo, Manning were going back and forth.
Yeah.
But like even during the game, I remember watching that game. I was like, Romo's going to make a mistake late. Like he's going to make a mistake before Peyton Manning does. And that happened. And that's how the Broncos won.
So
but yeah,
again, like
it doesn't matter that you played your freaking butt off for 3, almost 4 quarters. That last mistake.
Now, I will say, can you look at it like as a whole from a macro level and go like, it is a problem with Kirk Cousins? Like maybe this is one of the reasons why he's not the guy to lead you to a Super Bowl.
Not this season.
I don't think you could base it on that one play, but I will say this, and I'll say it again and again and again. The Vikings made the NFC Championship with Case Keenum. How did they do it? They had an amazing run game, and they had an amazing defense. They had some weapons on offense, but their identity has always been based in the defense. And they got rid of Zimmer because it continued even when they had all those offensive weapons. They had Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins playing well. They had that, but they were like, we need to get out of it. Zimmer's just not the guy. He's too conservative, more of a defensive guy. And they brought in KOC, and they won a lot of games that they would not have won last week. And that's the credit that I will 100% give to the Minnesota Vikings. However, I think still maybe there's that little identity that's still there, 1, and 2, their defense was like really, really bad. And it's tough to be a contender when your defense is that bad and your offense is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not where it should be like an elite level offense.
Yeah, I think like 2 things. This season, it's like Dalvin Cook was not Dalvin Cook. He was still a good running back, but I think there's that explosiveness from their run game was missing. But this season, I think I heard during the game, Kirk Cousins, he led like 7 or 8 game-winning drives.
Yeah. Yep.
So to give him the Kirk Cousins label this year, probably not fair. Maybe historically you could look at it a little bit differently. But and what makes that final throw even worse is he's got a guy like wide open in the middle, pretty close to TJ Hawkinson. And if he throws there, they probably pick up the first down and keep going. But it's, I saw that same stuff with Russ Wilson this season. Just in the game, here's the couple throws you should have did a little bit differently. And, things would have been different. And in the playoffs, everybody's watching, so they're going to see it. And unfortunately, that's what Kirk Cousins can get remembered.
Apparently, a robot voice.
Hello, it's me, a robot.
Apparently, it might be your mic. Oh, yeah, it's like just cutting in and out.
What? Why am I mic-y like that?
Just turn it off and turn it back on again.
I can't.
Just blow into the cartridge.
There we go.
But anyway, to that point.
Is it better? Is it better?
Yeah.
Is it better?
I don't know. You gotta wait for the people now. Gotta wait for the people.
I don't know.
But yeah, so we have to. I think the Vikings. You gotta fire Ed Donatel. That's number one. The defense has to get better. I imagine they're gonna go heavy defense in the draft. Justin Jefferson. Oh, it's both of you. So maybe it's the stream.
Says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Open widget. What? Stream status. Poor. Boo.
I don't know if it's a StreamYard problem or it's a YouTube problem.
Step it up, YouTube. Or StreamYard. Are we back, baby? Are we back?
Okay, better now. It says better now.
Okay.
There we go.
Woo,
wait,
Jacob.
who got that? I think you got that.
You. Happy
you got the
funeral, Tom. Kurt spits on his kid's cousins eliminated.
Sure.
Oh.
Whose
Whose
bandwagon are we jumping on?
are we jumping on now? Only one way to answer that.
No, it's the Bills! Buffalo all the way this time!
Yep, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars. I don't care about anyone from the NFC.
Bill Bangle Jaggy. Jaggin.
Why not? But yeah, so they got to go heavy defense. Their defense has to get better. I'm sure they'll address in the draft. Justin Jefferson is about to get paid $1 gajillion if they pay him in this offseason, and rightfully so. But Justin Jefferson also, I don't know if his defense just honing in on him. He did not have a good last 3 games. I know like the last one, like in and out with starters and whatever. But yeah, he got shut down by the Packers. And in that second half, like, he really didn't do anything against the Giants.
It's hard when
You said that. That's you. You said that. You said
goes through one guy, and that guy's a receiver.
Which it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Like, that's, I think, the most frustrating thing. And I know Adam Thielen, he had like an Instagram post, or his wife did, and said, like, it looks like, or it may look like our time with Minnesota is coming to an end. Kind of thing. I don't know if he's going to retire. I don't know if he's going to, go to another team. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's they should have been a much better offense with all of those weapons. And I hear it all the time as a Packers fan of wasting, Aaron Rodgers' prime and all that great stuff. But that was pretty great, Joseph. But I mean, yeah, they had a window. And what was interesting is what they did with that window is they had it with Case Keenum. And then they said, nope, let's go out. And they did. They went to the NFC Championship game. They went to the NFC. I know, like, they had the Minneapolis Miracle, but they had a window with a great defense and a good run game, and they were a quarterback away, and they decided to give $84 million to Kirk Cousins and really invest in a good, not amazing quarterback, and it didn't get them over the top. I mean,
there weren't a lot of options that year. I know, because I was hoping the Broncos would possibly get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
we got a Keenum
a lot
instead.
of options. You're right.
Keenum was the case they gave me, and it was not good. Not good.
Yeah. See, maybe that's just the thing. Maybe that's just the NFC North. Because Zach said, yep, wasted a generational defense. Lions, well, Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford. Hold on, there's. Also saw that clip again of Matthew Stafford dislocating his shoulder and then like going out and then coming back in and throwing a touchdown. Oh my God. It's such a badass thing. Matthew Stafford's always going to have my respect.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that's that game. Vikings, goodbye, Satan. Evil has been banished from the world, and the world is a brighter place today.
Yep.
And then the night game, Bengals, Ravens.
The J.K. Dobbins is done with the Ravens game.
Yeah, and again, he was running well. He basically said he didn't even. It was kind of taken out of context. Like, but Huntley, he's like, he shouldn't have been in that position. Should have just given it to me. And then they were like, he was asked dead on, like, would they have won if Lamar was in? He's like, yeah, we would have won if like Lamar was in. So, yeah.
They also talked about how Lamar's been limping around the facility, how his teammates know how injured he really is.
He wasn't even there at the game.
Yeah. And that's maybe it's weird, but also like if your injury, if you're dealing with like swelling still, which Lamar kind of alluded to, you really don't want to be flying. So could just be injury maintenance. But
yeah, they were one play away from winning. Yep, you're right.
I hope J.K. Dobbins is so disgruntled that he comes to the Broncos instead.
I know you
just need a really good running back.
The Ravens, listen, like the Dolphins, I'm impressed with the Ravens because you haven't seen Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins on the field at all this season at the same time. And this is the power run game. That's their identity. Great defense, great run game. And if they have Lamar Jackson, it just gives them that extra oomph. But it's just, I don't know, man. They're a good football team, But they got to figure stuff out. Like Greg Roman, the offense has to get better. And they need to not shoot themselves in the foot because the clock management was garbage. It was garbage late in that game.
Was it DeMarcus Robinson that just torched Eli Apple in that game?
Yes. Yeah, it was like a 40-something yard tutty. Yep.
Oh, I saw that route. I was like, oh. Ooh.
Yep.
Eli Apple could have some issues against Stephon Diggs.
Maybe a couple. I can't wait for that game, though. That game is going to be so much fun. And I know, I said this on Twitter, like, I know they alternate, but the fact that that game's not in prime time, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's not. It's such a disappointment. So, yeah, 3 o'clock on Sunday. But what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, CeeDee Lamb literally is their offense. That's what happens when you get rid of Amari Cooper for a 5th rounder.
Yeah. Tony Pollard, big game coming for TP. Swing pass, 80-yard touchdown. Tony Pollard 2 times.
Devil you know or the devil you don't. It's Justin Fields. You take Justin Fields. You have him. You just have him. All right, and then tonight, my friend, you got the Cowboys, Buccaneers in a game that a lot of people are just hoping the meteor hits. But I know you want 100 sacks on Tom Brady. But I really think that this game is a coin flip again. Like, this is another one.
I am not
Either team can win. The Buccaneers are not a good football team. They have flashes every now and then. And then the Cowboys are such an inconsistent football team.
Mm-hmm. And
if you're talking about
what's that?
I didn't mention this real quick. If I'm the Eagles, I'm afraid of the Giants this week. I'm afraid because they almost beat them with the backups in week 18.
Sure.
And I think it's a weird year. Brian Dable, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they're going to. It's another thing. Like, it's the Giants are the Jaguars of the NFC. They got nothing to lose. They're in there. First-year head coach. Like, just causing some problems.
We saw, too, like, you don't really want to be playing your division rival in the playoffs. Like, the third time those teams match up, good coaches are going to be so prepared for that. Like, you know their tendencies, you know what they're doing this season, you know how to defend it, you know how to attack them, and that's why we got like these surprisingly close games from the Dolphins, and not super surprising, but the Ravens played well, and the Seahawks for a while were in that game. But yeah, the Eagles, you really don't want to play the Cowboys or the Giants just because of the familiarity between you guys. But we'll see how tonight goes with Dallas. But right now, yeah, the Giants look like they look like one of the best teams out there because of the way they won. Just tough, gritty football.
I've been saying.
Well, I mean, Peterson, Dable, like
Peterson's up there too.
Both of those guys did wonders, and it's like I put in the rundown. Like, Peterson and Dable are giving me very high expectations of the Broncos' next coach fixing all of their problems. Just coming in with the wand and saying, "You shall be good now."
I mean, but that's the thing, right? Like, Dable brought the best out of Daniel Jones. Yeah. So many injuries. They don't have wide receivers and still are able to do it. And the Jaguars, like, they spent a lot of money in free agency. Trevor Lawrence, #1 overall pick, right? A couple years ago now. And I don't even want to say he brought the best out of Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor Lawrence was able to, like, show how good that he can be. You know, and I think the expectation was higher because he was the #1 overall pick. I feel like Daniel Jones, like, everyone's like, oh yeah, he's done after this year. Like, it's done. We need to move on. But now it's like, oh no, we're giving him an extension. Like, he is going to get another contract.
He's the dude. And the difference, like, those two teams last year, the Giants were losing a lot of close games still. The Jags were just not good.
Correct.
So, like, Peterson had a bigger leap for his team overall. But like you're saying, he probably has a better quarterback. Even with Daniel Jones playing well, it's a little bit easier to do when you got that guy. Now
I think good.
Oh no, yeah, talk, Tom.
It's clickbait. Good.
Still a Super Bowl. Now it's clickbait. I was gonna go into my next thought. So
do it.
the Buccaneers are getting an X factor back in center Ryan Jensen. Maybe the most dog-like center in the NFL. Went to college, Pueblo, Colorado. One of my hometowns. He's the only Buccaneer that I like.
Of course he did.
Dog patch. Ryan Jensen here, about to get up in their business. I do despise the fact that he protects Tom Brady. I do despise the fact that he lets Tom Brady cradle his grundle basically every other play. But that's a big get for the Bucs. Question is, like, he hasn't played all year, been injured all year. Like, how strong will he be? I don't know. But
it helps. It definitely helps. He's been getting some reps too. So
yeah. The good news is usually Dallas bring the pressure from the edges, so they can still get up in Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Come on, Micah. Come on.
Depends on how they utilize him, because there's been plenty of times where Micah Parsons this year has been a non-factor.
Wants a record for sacks in a game by the Cowboys.
107.
Brady literally sacked every play.
You know what's funny? I think that whatever team advances is probably going to get smacked by the 49ers. But, like, it all depends on what team is going to show up. Like, maybe the Cowboys are like, all right, remember when we, like, kind of were really inconsistent and sucked? Now we're going to, like, go full speed offense. Like, defense is going to be back to being clutch and stuff. Because they have the potential.
Yeah.
It's just that they don't play to it every week.
And that usually does not happen. If you're playing bad at the end of the season and you get into the playoffs,
and they
usually going to play bad
the playoffs. Like, they got smoked by the Commanders week 18.
The Bucs played better, but then they rest some of their starters in the Falcons and get just worked by Atlanta. So I'm not confident of either team really rolling into this game.
Yeah.
Like, if the Bucs and the Cowboys were both playing different opponents, I think I'd be picking both of them to lose.
Yeah.
But since
100%.
they're playing each other, it's a real must-watch game.
It is. It is. I just hope it's good. I hope that wild card doesn't end with a stinker. Because they were good. I didn't have a lot of high expectations.
Tom Brady is the worst human being on earth.
Watch Tom Brady go to the Minnesota Vikings. Oh my God.
Please do it. Please go to Minnesota, Tom.
God, I hope he goes to Denver. He's just like, there's only one defense that I really want to go to. I want to go to the Denver Broncos. All right. Well, we made it, Perna. I also have to pee so bad. These Vikings teams have run through me. Oh, yeah. That is the most hydrated I've ever been before this show. What do you got coming out, buddy?
I'll have best and worst after tonight's game. So, usually I don't do Monday night, but since it's the playoffs, got to kind of factor in that game.
Playoffs.
Won't have it up as fast as you got your every team reacts, but it'll be.
Yeah, every team's not going to come out today. No, I'm going to wait for tomorrow. Because I'm doing a reaction to the game right afterwards.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, today, NFC North reaction to the wild card. This could be a short. Vikings fan season reaction coming out today. Streaming tonight with Papa Grossi. That'll be fun. And then right after that game ends, Cowboys and Buccaneers reaction. So
cool. And if you're waiting, I got a recap of that old Chargers collapse.
Yeah, I saw you put that out. You put that out yesterday.
Yeah.
I put out about 10 hours of content out yesterday.
Joe, you insane.
We rock. But folks, appreciate you. We'll be streaming a game together. One of these
on the playoffs
Sunday, one or the other.
Oh yeah.
So
probably Bills, but we'll see.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. Oh, I gotta pee. And you've been navigated.
And you reached your destination here in Mexico,
which is